Friendo Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, filmed live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Want to give a shout out to everybody, not just joining us here, all 442 of you joining us on the Twitch, but earlier on the YouTube as well for our live reactions. And once again, thanks to the Enforcer, Stevie Bradley, for joining us as well.
Enforcer's the best.
Absolutely. Of course, we were watching Takeover 31, the first episode from the brand new basically just jazzed up
Capital Wrestling
Center.
Capital Wrestling Center. So it's a reference to when before WWE was WWE. It's got extra W in there. They were Capital Wrestling Corporation. That was the name of WWE when it was first born.
Yeah.
And so they redubbed the Performance Center the Capital Wrestling Center. Kind of made it like a mini Thunderdome. Have all the Zoom calls, but it's like one. Like huge imposing walls rather than rows of like stadium seating LED panels. It works. They got the chain link fence behind the plexiglass on the boards. That's cool. I mean, Triple H, I think, said in the Sports Illustrated write-up about the new, look of the Performance Center that he was looking for like a more metal version of what WWE's got with the Thunderdome. I don't know if it's as metal as it could possibly be, but it is more metal than Thunderdome.
Yeah, I dug it, man. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that I like how, the WWE's been deservedly so given a lot of flack for how they've been doing the COVID stuff. But, even the, having a crowd there in their own pods, basically separated, and they're apparently separated even when they enter the building, and they've been given tests and stuff like that. So, you're allowed to have crowds there, but you don't feel crappy watching it because, you're thinking everybody's going to, get sick. I thought that was pretty effective. I really liked the Zoom calls. It was a cool little mix of Full Sail, the Performance Center, and Thunderdome. I thought it was very effective. Yeah, I don't know about being super heavy metal. I feel like you needed, like steel grating instead of a mat if you want to be really heavy metal about it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty cool.
The pits of hell instead of ring mats, if you really want to keep it metal.
Every match an Inferno match is obviously what you'd be doing there. So, yeah, I mean, you could have... I don't know how to go with that. I was thinking about, remember it started the very first episode of Next Generation, Q, with, his weird version of the Mad Max future, where, his guards were, snorting cocaine out of something. It was just really dark. So something like that would be good. Takeover itself, I thought a stellar show. I thought it was a really, really, really good show. Obviously, it didn't have much of a build.
No, and that's the kind of thing about, every match was really good. Can't quibble with anything about any of the matches. Storyline aspect of it, it seemed like the show was put together super quick. Not to say there weren't stories. I just didn't feel like there was enough stories leading up to this show to really resonate at the conclusion. I'm just sitting here admiring a bunch of really brilliant wrestling. And we were all hoping, I think, for some sort of twist at the end that would push this Undisputed Era story forward, whether it's a split, something. What we got was Ridge Holland, a guy who's been on TV 3 times.
And one of those times he really put me off by dropping Johnny Gargano on his head. So it's obvious they want to do big things with him. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, but where you have a show with such great wrestling, and takeovers in the past have spoiled us with some really clever, interesting, shocking story twists after the little copyright thing pops up. So we kind of grown used to that. And then when we get Ridge Holland dumping a beat up Adam Cole over the barricade as kind of our twist at the end, we're like, oh, all right. Well, it's obvious they have high hopes for Ridge Holland, but all right, it's something. It's not like, oh gosh, wow. It's not the extra little bit of story lines that will push the show from being, wow, that was like a brilliant display of wrestling, to that was a brilliant display of wrestling. Oh my gosh, I did not see the end of that coming.
Yeah, that didn't. I mean, given, I don't know. I think so. I expected a killer match out of Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly. One thing that I didn't expect is what we got tonight, which was, I think, I was thinking about it during our little gulf between live reactions and going live on the podcast. That to me was this year's version of, I don't know what it would have been last year or the year before, but Tyler Bate versus Walter, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, Tyler Bate versus Walter. Like the two of the UK Takeover matches, or even before then, we had like Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate versus Walter. Those matches where, yeah, they had builds. Obviously, they had builds, and they were good ones. But really, like the real value was in the wrestling. And with this, I didn't care afterwards about. I mean, yeah, was the Ridge Holland thing like a big who cares? Yeah, totally, it was. Like, we expected there to be drama between the Undisputed Era, and instead we got Ridge Holland, with a dead Adam Cole. I kind of like, that's, to me, that's like, yeah, it could have been like, oh wow, a crazy twist. But given what we had just seen between Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly, I honestly didn't care. I would have been fine without anything after the copyright, because that match was so damn good.
Yeah, and I think unless you're gonna do something that's really gonna push the show a next level,
why bother?
Like, why bother?
Yeah,
it's like Ridge Holland showing up with a beat up Adam Cole. I'm like, all right, well, that's something that could happen on TV,
Yeah. I thought that it was, though. I thought there were two. Boy, there were two matches I thought that were just over the top good. And honestly, like, I thought that Io Shirai versus Candice was like really super good, but I don't think it was as good as Finn versus Kyle O'Reilly or Swerve versus
Swerve and Escobar,
Escobar, which was just completely over the top good. I mean, those matches were just out of this world outstanding.
I mean, the only match you could consider kind of, I hesitate to say underwhelming, but it was essentially a 15-minute squash match with KUSHIDA versus Velveteen Dream, where Dream barely got any offense, and KUSHIDA dominated the match. An
underwhelming week of NXT TV main event. That's what that was. It was a great showcase for a new Shida. But Velveteen Dream, even though, he had the Doc Brown costume on, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what was going on there. I mentioned this after that match was over. I said, I wonder when the next time we're going to see Dream on a takeover is, because given what Triple H said about his immaturity on his conference call and what we saw tonight, where he was just picked apart. And even his demeanor during the match seemed like a guy who was basically being punished by the WWE. That was an underwhelming match, to say the least. But everything else, like Io, Candice, Finn, Kyle, Swerve, Santos, and then Johnny Gargano versus Damien Priest, were just 4-star plus matches. Mm-hmm. Just really stellar stuff.
All really good. Really good.
Even without a build, you know who these people are. I mean, you know what they're about. And, Candice and Johnny have been doing this really great heel work for a couple months now. So, do I need like a blood feud between Io and Candice to appreciate this match? No. Do I need one for Priest Gargano? No. Finn Kyle? No. Just give me a great match. And that's what we got tonight. Just some really great wrestling.
Yeah.
So I loved it all. I thought it was great. The other big thing coming out, we had two, not just one, but two returns to the women's division.
One of them kind of undercut the other one,
which was a little weird. So at the conclusion of Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Io Shirai got a match hat question from one Toni Storm. Mm-hmm. What did Toni Storm say, Larson? Because I didn't hear.
Pretty much, it's Toni time. Here, let me pull up my notes for it.
That sounds right.
She's back in NXT. She's going to turn this place upside down. It's going to be Toni time. And so she's up at the Tron saying that. And then we go, and it's the night vision with all the techie type stuff overlaid on top of it. The 3D camera, all that stuff of the mysterious individual riding this motorcycle. They're riding it around the back of Performance Center. They open the door, enters. Io is watching this all from the ring on the Tron. This individual walks out on stage. They remove their helmet. It's, as we predicted, Ember Moon. Mm-hmm. And considering, granted, there's only two pretty brief vignettes, one of which featured Ember going into some sort of archive on Performance Center or Full Sail and busting open that glass case and grabbing a title out of it, and just given kind of like the nature of the voiceover and the general presentation, you'd think it'd be something a bit more impactful, very direct, maybe an attack maybe she'd hit the ring, beat up Io a little bit, then take the helmet off.
I don't know if
Then
she's.
Ember.
I don't know how difficult it would be to do this with the helmet on. Maybe you modify the helmet, you put a mask on instead. But you have her lay out Io and then drop her with an eclipse while she still has the mask on. Then we all know who it is. She takes the mask off and she's revealed. Not smiling, though. She was, man, I thought this was kind of a missed opportunity because I thought that the vignettes were actually pretty cool. We only had 2 of them. And then, the lead up for tonight's reveal. But regardless, it's good to see Ember Moon back in NXT.
Yes, definitely. I'm a huge fan of Ember Moon, and it's great to see her back in NXT, where hopefully she'll be given more opportunity to showcase what she can do in the ring, because she's damn good.
And then somebody in our chat brought up a good point, said, so with Toni and Io coming into what is already kind of a stacked women's division, where does that leave? Because there is an idea, like there was a tweet from the WWE about who should get the first pick of the draft, and NXT was listed on there. That tweet, if not mistaken, you said was taken down.
That's my understanding. Yeah, it was deleted, and then a new poll with just Raw and SmackDown was put in its place.
So, I mean, I don't know. You can make what you will of that. Maybe right hand not knowing what left hand's doing, which would not.
Yeah, it seems to be a common
anybody.
occurrence within WWE.
But, I mean, that doesn't mean that NXT is not going to have a call-up. Usually that happens around the draft time.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, Rhea Ripley's in something right now with Raquel Gonzalez. If they blow that off at NXT TV or at Halloween Havoc, which is another thing that was announced, Halloween Havoc on the 28th.
That's great. And it's going to be hosted by Shotzi.
Which is
great.
Fantastic. We were just talking about her doing that kind of stuff last time we were talking about her. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they want to build up Raquel, have her beat Rhea, and Rhea quantum leaps out to the draft or to a call-up or something. I don't know. I mean, she's a name that obviously, could be NXT Women's Champion tomorrow or, whatever. Or she can go to main roster. There are a couple people, I mean, Io Shirai included, who the Garganos could go to main roster.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I thought Candice had a pretty good shot at winning this match. I thought it was a pretty decent chance that Io would get called up.
Yeah.
But didn't happen.
Oh, speaking of that happening, Big Red is coming back home.
Yeah, it's back there somewhere.
Oh my gosh, look at that poor guy. I could see him back there. He's just staring at the wall.
All right, so here you go. Yeah, here's a tweet from 6 hours ago from WB. The number 1 draft pick should be, and it has Raw and SmackDown tagged in it, but no NXT.
Yeah, everybody was making a big stink about NXT being in it, then they took it down. So anyways, well, let's just go ahead and kick this off here. We've got the collaborative Steve and Larson notes here available just for us to see. So, we both equal parts of this here.
I did all the typing, so I don't know what you're saying about equal parts.
Well, I made some things bold that I want to talk about. It's basically just a finish.
All right, you could just stick in your own notes. There's things you want to talk about. But anyways, to kick off the show, there's a video package about Capital Wrestling Corporation and how that led to the naming of the Capital Wrestling Center. What?
Okay, so I have a question about this. When Vic Joseph introduces the Capital Wrestling Center, he says, we look to the past to inform our future. Did they have Zoom call giant LED boards back in 1953? What exactly?
No, they had telegraphs.
What? Right? What exactly was?
He's just talking about the name. He's talking about the name. That's it.
It's
the name.
just the name.
Just the name.
Okay.
The name and the fact that there was probably wrestling rings in 1950 something.
Probably.
Otherwise, everything else is different.
Right. Good. Okay. Please continue.
So name, ring, everything else different. So after that, first match of the night, Damien Pries versus Johnny Gargano for North American title. Since Gargano took the loss. No, he got the pin on the Go Home show. NXT. You knew he wasn't going to win, and then you add that to him and Candice putting the belts on. At the very least, you know for sure Gargano was going to lose this bout. He did. That's not to say they didn't put forth a quality enough effort that you thought crossed your mind. Maybe they'll give this to Johnny.
Yeah. Just a really stellar match. I mean, dude, you put Damien Priest in there with pretty much anybody. You put Johnny Gargano in there with anybody.
Yeah.
Both these guys can just come out with some really, really great matches. I only have the finish highlighted here. Do you want to go over anything that you thought was particularly cool about this match?
I mean, Johnny was working over Damien Priest's arm pretty good. I mean, to start off with, it was Johnny trying to utilize his quickness advantage. Damien Priest would try to get a hold of him and overpower him, and it was kind of a constant back and forth between those two approaches. Gargano, as mentioned, was working over Priest's arm pretty good. In the end, though, it didn't really matter that much.
Yeah, so Gargano locks on the Gargano escape. Priest tries to get to the ropes. Gargano pulls him to the middle, pulls it back, puts it back on. Priest gets to the ropes. Johnny's, what is this on our notes? Johnny back on Priest's arm. Okay. Johnny
starts going after Priest's arm again. Looks to he's
the ring steps bit. Yeah.
So he looks behind him, and there's ring steps on the floor there. So he's hitting some shots on Priest. Priest tries to suplex Johnny out of the ring. Gargano fights him off. Priest was on the apron. Gargano fights him off, hits a couple super kicks, goes for one final beat. Priest catches him, and then hits like a draping reckoning for the win.
Yeah, they just teased that damn steel step. They never actually did anything else.
No, never deliver. So Gargano was working over Priest's arm, working over his leg a little bit too. Earlier on in the match, there's a spot where Priest goes at the top, Gargano rolls out of the ring. And so Priest goes for one of those step-up topes, and Gargano pulls a couple of security guards in his way. So Priest takes them out. And while Drake's attending to the security guards, Johnny kicks Damien in the front area, and then hits a super kick on him in the ring. Ref runs back in. Damien kicks at it too. But in this match, like Priest was holding his arm, he was punching it so he can raise his title up and do his Archer thing, holding his front area, like selling knee. He was beat up. That was kind of the theme of the show, is everybody got beat up.
Yeah, everybody got beat up pretty good.
Especially the main event. That was one of those matches that hurt to watch. They just felt the physicality of it through the TV screen
afterwards. Yeah.
Oh man,
I am kind of disappointed though. I do not see, at least on Damien Priest's Twitter account,
the hot tub,
nowhere to be found. What a bummer.
Goodness gracious me. After that, we had Velveteen Dream versus KUSHIDA. Velveteen Dream was doing kind of a Doc Brown thing from the beginning of the first movie. He had the dish gloves on, the yellow dish gloves. He had like some silver dye or something in his hair.
Spray dye, yeah.
Yeah, but it was when he'd sweat, it was going down his face,
yeah,
and like getting in his eyes.
It was already, when he came out, you noticed like a silver sheen on his forehead. So it was, even that he was doing pretty reckless. Yeah, he was like, whatever. Let's just get this done. I'll do
Doc Brown. But the thing is like if Kushida is supposed to be Marty, well, Marty and Doc Brown never had a rivalry.
Well, right? I think it's sort of the head games. Like why come out with Biff? He's or Flea. They're the natural rivals. Or even Principal Strickland, they're the natural rivals of Marty McFly. It's more messed up if he's fighting his father figure.
I guess that's a way of looking at it. Anyways, Kushida wasn't in the mind games because he just beat the hell out of Velveteen Dream for about 15 minutes. Yeah. Dream got a little offense in, not a whole lot, but it was Kushida destroying Dream, destroying his arm, twisting his arm in pretzels.
Yeah.
He just destroyed him.
He was
destroyed him.
Dream was pretty damn flexible. Like in some of those spots, his shoulder was like all the way back. He was doing a good. It was like border. It was like borderline Shawn Michaels selling for Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam 2005. Yeah. Like it was a bit overboard, and I feel like when he's really into a match, his best matches. He doesn't go overboard. He sells appropriately, and he's really good with the dramatics. This felt almost cartoonish. Maybe I'm projecting. I don't know, but I did feel like the saga of checked out Velveteen Dream continueth.
Yeah, it carries on. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Dream on our televisions for a while.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. But then, every time I feel like I've said that a couple times.
But if he is, I kind of feel like for a while, I feel like both him and Austin Theory will be taking a lot of losses in the months to come.
Seems like it, right?
Anyways, Kushida, the finish was actually a cool spot. So Dream hits this massive clothesline, goes the top rope again to look for a purple rainmaker. Kushida gets up. He goes up there and does a thing where he puts the hoverboard lock on somebody, and they kind of both do a flip off the top rope. So he's got the hoverboard lock on Dream. Dream gets to the ropes. Instead of just putting his foot on the rope, he pushes off to kind of try to roll Kushida over. Kushida rolls with him. He still has the hold on. Dream kind of powers himself up, hits a Dream Valley driver. Kushida doesn't let go, and pretty much as soon as Dream hits the DVD and Kushida like torques back on the hoverboard lock, Dream taps.
Right there, yeah.
Bell rings. Kushida gets off momentarily to celebrate. Right back on Dream. Puts on a cross arm breaker. Refs break that up, and then Kushida's right back on the arm again.
Yeah.
It felt like, hey, we're going to write you off TV for a while.
It really did, yeah, because it was like multiple times, like you said. After that, we had the announcement of the Halloween Havoc themed episode of NXT on October 28th, hosted by Shotzi Blackheart. She was also in attendance tonight in the crowd.
Yes.
So
this is a good spot for Shotzi. They obviously think very highly of her for good reason because she's great.
She's terrific.
But you said she used to do this kind of stuff, right?
Host she used to host like horror movie. You know how they do those like like the Rocky Horror Picture Show stuff. Yeah, she would host that kind of stuff back in the day in the Bay Area.
That's cool.
So this is like right up her alley.
So I hope they have a lot of fun with this. They do the Halloween Battle Royal, like what you'd get at one of the Florida House Flow Loop shows.
Yeah.
Just make it fun.
Make it fun. Yeah. Just forget about kayfabe for the week, for the the episode. Yeah. Let's see these people have some fun for sure.
After that, cruiserweight title bout: Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Santos Escobar. Man, this match was phenomenal.
This was a killer takeover match, dude.
This was a star-making performance for Swerve. The beginning, he was doing to Santos what Kushida was kind of doing to Velveteen Dream in terms of like working a body part. He was working over his arm all over the place early on. There's this great bit where Swerve had hit a high flying move, like he started the moonsault off the apron, and then so Santos would get up and move like 90 degrees around one corner of the ring. Swerve would go over there, bang, corkscrew splash off the second rope, and then so Santos would get up. Santos got up, and then Swerve started working his arm around the turnbuckle, gets a 2, goes back to working the arm, then later on he hits the suicide dive, or a tope, just like a great, like 1, 2, 3, bang, 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 high flying move on him. Santos turns the tables at one point, drapes Swerve over the top rope, follows the suicide dive, gets a bunch of stuff off. Swerve makes a comeback. So about 2/3 way through the match, they're both just hitting moves on each other. They're both selling. Legado del Fantasma comes ringside. Joaquin Wilde, I believe, trips up Swerve while Raul Mendoza is distracting the ref. Santos slams him. Swerve gets a 2. And so they're up on the top rope area. Swerve crotches Santos across the top rope and does so Legado del Fantasma standing there like, oh gosh, what's going to happen? Swerve hits a Rana, jumps off the top rope, hits a Hurricane Rana on Santos onto them.
That was great.
And then what's Tahiti Miles' name now? Ashanti Adonis, right?
Ashanti Adonis, yeah.
Yeah, so he comes down to ringside. He starts fighting with Legado to kind of even the odds for Swerve. And then back in the ring, Swerve is going for like a rolling flatliner, which he hit earlier in the match. Escobar kicks the heck out of him. Hits the Phantom Driver. Swerve kicks out.
Which is a shock because like nobody's done that yet.
No. So Santos hits 3 amigos, 3 suplexes, goes up top for a frog splash, misses that. Swerve stomps his arm, hits a house call, a 450. Santos kicks out of that. Then Swerve is looking to put some sort of hold on Santos. Escobar drives him out of the ring. They're jockeying for position on the apron. And then Santos pushes Swerve backwards into the ring post, and it's supposed to be like he hit his head.
He hit his
head,
barely
grazed it, yeah. And it hits this new move. I didn't see him do like a double underhook neck breaker type thing to get the win. Really good match, though.
Yeah, no, it was terrific. I guess my only issue, I don't watch 205, and I know a lot of this stuff takes place on 205. I hope maybe Swerve will head up to main roster. I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like it was, hey, you got to get this title, or or they got to do something else with him. Put him in a program with Kushida. I mean, Kushida's like a vicious good guy now, I guess. Is he like Kushida's? Is he a good guy or a bad guy now?
Who, Kushida? I don't know. He kind of feels like tweener.
Yeah, right. He's just like a really vicious version of like nice Kushida. He's like mean Kushida, but he's like a good guy still.
Yeah.
But then I don't know if Dream was supposed to be a.
Oh, Dream was a heel.
He was a heel in this.
Yeah, because he was talking to the crowd. He's like, "Oh, come on, boo me now."
Oh, okay.
He was requesting boos.
Okay, all right. So okay. In any event, that's the match. That's a match that I wouldn't mind seeing. After that, we had Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. Just another killer match. I figured this would be match of the night. I just didn't realize that Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor were going to pull out what they pulled out, and I didn't realize Swerve
literally
and Santos
beat the heck out of each other.
Yeah, but this was a lot of fun though. It had a little bit of shenanigans there. At one point there was a ref bump, so Gargano channels his inner Bailey, comes out wearing an inside out ref shirt, tries to get involved, but he's pretty useless.
Yeah, he was pretty damn useless. And like, here's the thing: like, he goes out there, he counts this fast count after Candice hits her finish, and Io still kicks out. And so he and Candice are just standing around, wasting time. The ref's out.
The ref is still out. They could easily grab kendo stick, a chair.
Well, I mean, if she just hits her finish again,
do it again.
Fast count, done.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So finally, Johnny goes down to the ringside, grabs the belt from the timekeeper. By this point, the ref has come to, after taking 2 bumps.
Yeah.
One of them was pretty great. The one where Io goes for her moonsault and Candice gets her knees up, and Io flings herself backwards into the ref, and the ref goes flying out of the ring. That was pretty awesome. So anyways, the ref's come to. He's back in the ring. He and Johnny are arguing. While this is happening, Johnny kind of secretly drops the title. Candice picks it up. While the ref's back is turned, Candice hits Io with the title. Johnny gets out of the ring right then. Ref counts. Io kicks out. So Candice goes up top. Io hits her with the palm strike. Goes up to the top rope. Spanish fly. Moonsault for the win. Johnny's standing right there. Pulled the ref out of the ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny's reaction to Io kicking out after the title shot was hilarious because he just starts rolling around on the floor.
That was pretty good.
And I know you were yelling for him to do that. I didn't see where he ended up after his reaction, if he was close enough to be able to react and grab the ref out.
I mean, right when Io hit that Spanish fly, you got to be in position, man.
Yeah, I think he was still so distraught. And I don't know. They're very confused people. They're really off their. They're kind of messed up. But anyways, yeah, that was really good stuff. So anyways, like you said, Io gets the moonsault for the win. We already talked about this a little bit. Toni Storm with her Matt Chat question. By the way, shout out also and thanks to Luke Owen from Wrestle Talk. For showing up for Matt Chat this month.
That was a blast.
It was so much fun. That's available on the channel right now. You can watch that. So Toni Storm shows up. She's in NXT. It's going to be Toni time. And then the person on a motorcycle outside the PC, they come around. It's Ember Moon. Big old smile from Ember Moon. So, yeah, that happened. After that we had Ashanti Adonis interview. Tahuti Miles is such a great name.
Yeah, I know.
It's such a great name. But, sometimes I guess maybe even, people want a different name and WWE wants to call them something different. So
I'm sure WWE would prefer everybody had a different name.
Probably.
A name that would belong to them.
Yeah, right. So anyways, I didn't have audio for this, but according to our notes, he says he's got respect for Swerve. He's sick of seeing Legato jumping guys, so he did something about it.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for me to hear it too because I had the volume pretty low. Enforcer did a good job of recapping it, though.
Right, yes. He did great.
He did a great job of that. So after that was the main event. This was a really hard-hitting affair. This is probably Finn Balor's best match since he signed to WWE. This was brutal. It was stiff. It hurt to watch. It felt like both competitors had multiple body parts that required at the least ice and doctor's attention, if not a trip to the hospital.
Did you say this was the best Finn Balor match?
Since he's been at WWE, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, I didn't hear if you said Kyle or him, but for either guy, this is clearly their best match. This was, and I mean, I feel like since Finn's been in NXT, we've said that a couple times. Yeah. I'm still really, really interested in seeing Finn versus Walter, which they were building to before COVID. Yeah. That's going to be a killer match. This was so much fun, though. This was so great. The bit that early on, Finn working over Kyle. There was a bunch of mat wrestling to kick things off. At one point, he has Kyle O'Reilly. He has him in an arm bar. He's sort of standing up. He's got the arm up here, and he starts doing the air guitar on Kyle's arm.
Great.
Really great moment right there. Lots of great
really
chops as well from Finn and Kyle.
Oh my gosh,
good stuff.
It was just brutal. Like the kind of turning point for Kyle is Finn hits like a kick to Kyle's gut.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts to react to it, and he crumples
to
the ground. And then Lerae does this to Finn. He's looking at him, as like, go away! I can't do it. I need to recover from this. And the ref was right on it. Like, I was actually thinking, oh man, did he actually get kicked in the gut? Like, legit?
Well, what's great? Yeah, no. What's great is that, I only know this not from, doing much physical in my life, but the few times that I've stubbed my toe, there is that moment where it hasn't, like the pain doesn't happen yet. It's brief, and you think you can just keep going, and then you realize, oh my God, I think my toe's off its foot.
Yeah.
In this case, kind of the same. You take a beat. Oh, oh no, that's bad.
Yeah. And so he's walling around the mat. The ref's checking him. Finn comes over and stomps him a few times, and the ref gets him back like a beat and a half. Finn's back over there stomping him, and the whole time, for a pretty good duration of the match, Finn is just working over Kyle's midsection.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a good job, essentially built up to it, making like an abdominal stretch, a pretty mundane move in wrestling. He put that on Kyle, like, oh gosh, because they built to that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, that sucks for Kyle.
Yeah,
because he's getting his ribs worked on, his gut worked on, his lower back worked on. Finn was just beating the hell out of him.
TV direction was really good too, because they got a lot of great close-ups on both these guys, but Kyle's selling was just absolutely next level.
He's always been a fantastic seller. And then eventually Kyle is able to turn the tables enough to start going after Finn's leg. And at one point he put like a double heel hook on him. That was nasty. So it was just back and forth. Kyle going after the leg, Finn trying to work Kyle over some more. At one point, O'Reilly gets a guillotine on Finn. He starts to fade. Kyle release it, hits him with the knee, brain buster. That gets him a 2 count. Kyle's looking for an arm bar. Finn stomps his way out of it. So at this point, Finn is selling arm and leg. And the Finn is hitting some forearms to Kyle's back. Follows with a reverse 1916. That gets him a 2. So Finn goes up top. Kyle kicks him off, hits the dragon screw leg whip over the top rope, and then another one across the second rope. So then Finn's kind of like holding himself up across the ropes. Kyle hits a knee drop off the second rope, and then another one off the top rope onto Finn's knee, right into that double heel hook. Finn gets to the ropes. So Finn's selling his knee. He hits a double stomp. O'Reilly responds with a knee, a German suplex, and then Finn kind of no-sells that, hits another double stomp, hits a coup de grace to get the win, and Finn gets up. I didn't notice this before, so maybe it did happen. He gets up from that pin, just like blood is spilling out of his mouth.
And it's like super like thick, like it looks like deep blood.
And early on to Kyle, there's this great shot where Finn had Kyle in a sharpshooter.
Yeah,
and Kyle was bleeding a little bit out of his mouth and a streak of it down his cheek.
Yeah,
it was just a physical, hard hitting match where you believe these guys were beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah, it was one of those just hurt to watch by the end. I love that kind of stuff, man. I think it's so good. Like when they make a, I know there are so many different philosophies of pro wrestling, but when you can make something look like it's a real fight, there is really nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Nope.
This is just really terrific stuff, and that's why I say it reminds me of like the best Tyler Bate matches. It's just, man, that dude makes it look like it's a fight, and it's.
Well, I feel like after his match with Walter, Tyler Bate was get the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, totally.
He legit got the shit beat out of him. So Finn, he stands up, beat up. Kyle's kind of like slumped over on the mat. Looks like he wants to fall asleep. Because he's got pipe his hurts, exhausted, but he got beat the heck. Finn helps him up. And then Kyle O'Reilly is about to hold up Finn's arm. When he looks over, camera pans over, and there's Ridge Holland that has like destroyed Adam Cole over his shoulder. He dumps him over the barricade. Bob Fish and Roderick Strong come to ringside to check on him, and that's how the show ends. So I don't know if this is a thing where they really want to push Ridge Holland. So they have him attack Adam Cole just to start that feud. Or is there something grander in place? Because I think people are immediately starting to speculate, well, did Finn order Ridge Holland to do that attack? Is this something that Fish and Strong got Ridge Holland to do to Adam Cole. You know, I think here's the thing. I think people wanted something involving the Undisputed Era to happen at the end of the show in some way or another. Something to carry their story forward. So I think something like that happens, which to me just feels like, oh, they want to do something with Ridge Holland, so they just have attack Adam Cole, since Adam Cole is like, you know, one of the top dogs in NXT. But I think people are trying to put the pieces together because it's so out of left field to have Ridge Holland show up with Adam Cole, you know?
It's really out of left field, and it's not the kind, I mean, it's not, I'll be honest with you, like, it's not really the kind of cliffhanger that necessarily makes me, look, I'm going to tune in. I love NXT. It's like my favorite thing. But this, you know, when Ciampa turned on Gargano, you need to tune into the next one. You need to. With this I'm still going to tune in because I really love NXT. This didn't make me really want to tune in more. It's just like, oh, he's the next guy that's going to face Adam Cole. And yeah, there might be an additional wrinkle to it, but because we didn't get any hint of an additional wrinkle, I mean, besides, you know, Strong and Fish coming out late and being like, oh, we didn't know what happened. We didn't know what happened. I mean, that could be a hint, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I like Ridge Holland. Do I like him enough to be like, oh, okay, this is really cool? I just, he's still kind of a blank slate for me. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's not like it's not like a cliffhanger that's like, oh man, now I have to wait till Wednesday. It's not that kind of cliffhanger.
And then you know, a huge cliffhanger at the end of a show isn't necessary, but when you have a show and the wrestling's so good, you know, that's one you know, point of entry for a potential new fan. But if you top it off with something that's gonna, you know, the people want to tune in to see on Wednesday because they want to see how that story ends, they just have to set in it. Then that's what was kind of lacking from the end of this one, you know?
Just need to set in it.
Anthony here in chat says Triple H just said now on his typical post-takeover conference call they had to make a lot of chicken salad out of the show with injuries and such.
Man, that's a lot of chicken salad, though.
That's a pretty damn good chicken salad.
No kidding. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the thing about Ridge Holland is that he hasn't really,
So Sean Ross Sapp is, of course, on the conference call. And he said Finn Balor is on his way to get his jaw x-rayed. Yeah,
that's what Anthony F. here in chat just said as well. Yeah. Oof. Anyways. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll answer some questions. But for the podcast people, thank you so much for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson.